What's up guys, it's Jordan from Blackwater, Japan, and we're getting ready to manual swap our first gen GS300. This is the transmission we're going to be using. It is a SC300 non-tripod W58 transmission. I'll get into it a little bit more, but right now the first thing we got to do is get into the garage and take a look at it. Okay, so I am about to start to disassemble the transmission a little bit, and the first thing I really need to do is drain all the gear oil out of it, and then I am going to need to remove my slave cylinder, my throwout bearing, this wiring harness here. I need to get the shifter housing and the shifter linkage extended, so I will need to remove the shifter housing and also take apart the transmission, open the casing up, and get to the bolt that takes the shifter linkage out. So I probably won't show you guys too much of me doing the actual process, but I will update you as I go. Alright guys, it's day 2 in the video, and we got the shifter housing off, took off the bolt for the linkage right here. And now we are splitting the trans. Or Shelby is. Look, I should probably put down the phone and help, huh? Now time to split this shit. Hey, we got it though. We got the transmission pulled apart. We got the shifter housing off and the shifter linkage out that we need to take and get extended. We got the sides all cleaned up and ready to be resealed when we get the extension back. We have the SC300 non-tripod W58 shifter housing. Here's the shifter linkage that also gets extended, and I believe that this would be called the gear selector. It connects to the shifter linkage and shifts into gears. And then just all our bolts and our throwout bearing and all that stuff. This is where we're going to stop the video for now until we get our shifter housing and shifter linkage back from being extended. Stay tuned for next. What's up guys, it's Jordan back again. Let me just start off by saying those last few clips that you're just watching, yeah, that was from a couple weeks ago. And the reason being is because we did get our shifter extension back. We got them both back. The first time we got them back, the linkage, this whole part here was too far off to the side, and it was not allowing me to shift into fifth and reverse gear when I did my test fit. So I took it back, and then he gave it back again. It was better centered the second time around, but this time he accidentally, when he cut and fixed this weld, he accidentally bent the whole thing up. So I was having a real hard time with my shifter itself dropping too far below this hole here and then getting stuck and not wanting to shift or do anything. So anyways, I took it to Xcessive manufacturing, and they put it on their jig and had everything perfectly centered. So now it is in perfect working order. And now let's go over a few measurements for you guys. So for the shifter extension, we went with a 4.25 inch extension. That's for the housing and the linkage. And that reason being is because I know multiple people with tripod W58s that fit in the first gen GS without any extension at all. It comes up about a 1/4 inch short of the actual stock shifter hole. And we have a non-tripod SC300 transmission, and so what I did was basically take the overall measurement from a tripod W58 and then our W58, and I made our W58 shifter to the same length as a tripod W58 shifter. So with that being said, we went with 4.25 inch shifter extension. And then for the drive shaft, I'm going to give a big shout out to Xcessive Manufacturing. They did an awesome job. I'll show you guys here. This is our drive shaft, if you can even see it. It's got a really cool Xcessive logo right there, and it's pretty sick. So We went with a 3-inch drive shaft because most shops will recommend going to 3.5 inch or 4-inch. But for our cars, I have heard of stories where people get a bigger drive shaft and they have problems with the drive shaft rubbing on their parking brake hangers and just a bunch of different like clearance issues. So we went with a 3-inch. The measurement we went with was 58.75 inches. And that's because I have a friend who got his drive shaft made and it was the same exact length. I had 2 people that I know with that exact drive shaft measurement. So it's safe to say that your drive shaft measurement should be about 58.75 inches. Of course, it determines also what diff adapter you're going to be using. So for us, we went with the Granis Racing diff adapter. It measures about 25 millimeters thick, pretty close to the stock width of the stock Guibo bushing. And so with that being said, I'm going to show you guys how we got the measurement. We did it the drift motion way, and I'll throw in a picture now. But you have to factor in this 25 millimeter length for the diff adapter. So make sure you do that. So now I'm done talking because I've talked a lot here. And it's pretty much time to put the shifter extension and all that back together in the new transmission and start reassembling and getting the trans ready to go in the car. Here's a quick rundown of all the measurements. And let me just say this, we're in a position to where we need to do all our groundwork before we start the swap, because I'm trying to get the swap done in just a couple days. I did all my research, asked a bunch of different questions to a bunch of different people, and I'm just trying to do all my groundwork so that when I go to start the swap, I don't have anything hanging me up. So with that being said, I got my measurements through other people and do it by doing some research. So keep that in mind when you are going to do your swap. Okay, it is time to reseal. But I just want to show you guys that you got to be careful and make sure that when you are reassembling that this is a neutral, that the transmission is a neutral. And you will be able to tell by all 3 of those things lining up perfect. And also it'll be very easy to spin. So make sure you're gentle with it as you're putting on your new fippage. By the way, we are using ASIN OEM Toyota orange fippage. So let's go. Now we're going to torque all of our 14 millimeter bolts to 45 foot-pounds. Perfect! And now it's resealed, ready to go in the car. Go! Alright guys, so this is where I'm going to end this video. Got our transmission put back together. This is our drive shaft. Your situation should look somewhat similar with your diff adapter. I kind of just threw it on there, And this just gives you a rough idea as to how this is all going to go in the car. But yeah, stay tuned for part 2 of this manual swap. It's going to be a long one.